All right, so today we are headed on an adventure, me and the boss. We left the guys at the shop and we are headed to Woods Cross, Utah, to Sparks Motors to meet a guy named Ethan Wayne. You may recognize that name, you might know who he is, but you most definitely know his dad.
I haven't lost my temper in 40 years, but Pilgrim, you caused a lot of trouble this morning. Might have got somebody killed.
John Wayne, the legendary cowboy. I mean, every Western movie I could ever dream of had John Wayne in it. So we're headed up to talk to Ethan and the guys at Sparks Motors about an upcoming project for the John Wayne Cancer Foundation. So they have asked us to come up and take a look at one of John Wayne's trucks. And they're gonna be building another truck, I believe, to look exactly like John Wayne's original truck. Basically, they're gonna be building this truck for the John Wayne Cancer Foundation to give away to somebody out there. And we're gonna be painting it. So we're taking you guys along with us. Get off the phone! Bud, smoking. After 2.5 hours of driving, we finally made it to Sparks Motors. So we're gonna be going in and meeting Ethan Wayne, son of the legendary John Wayne himself. So this is a pretty cool moment. I'm excited to get in there and talk to him about what we're planning on doing with this truck. And we're gonna be meeting up with Diesel Dave. So let's get inside and figure out what we need to do to make this truck a reality. Right.
Is it more than just look at the paint job and know what you're doing? Do you have like
Gotta be one with the truck.
Yeah. Do you keep your eyes open for that or do you close?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
That's the best way to figure it out.
I don't know if I can leave you alone. I think that's why Ethan's here, to make sure that we don't do anything to his dad's truck that he doesn't approve of.
It's my truck now.
That's right. Yeah.
I missed that thing.
Well, I say we go take a look at it.
Awesome, let's
go. What is your process? Have you done lots of replicas before?
Not replicas, but I've done a lot of things that people want.
Yeah.
And I've looked at pictures and stuff like that. But to actually see the truck and visually be able to replicate something that's already done makes it way better.
Way easier.
He asked everybody who the best farmer was. He got this guy Louie. So he said, "Hey Louie, I got all this land. I'm losing my tail on it. Can you help me?" We came over and said, "I'll get 4 bales of cotton per acre, or I'll buy you a new pickup truck." And so the first year he didn't quite get 4, which was pretty aggressive back then. And so this is the result of that bet. And then the truck was on the ranch. It was in LA at the production company, and my brother Michael used it, and his kids used it. Then they gave it to my brother Patrick, and my brother Patrick used it for years. And then one day I was up at Patrick's house. I'm like, "What are you doing with that old truck?" He goes, "Nothing." And I go, "Well, will you sell it to me? I want to use it as a motorcycle race truck." He goes, "Sure." So Louis paid for it, and I paid for it, and everybody else got to use it for free. Oh, it smells good in here.
So this started out as your dad's, went to your brother's, and then now it's yours. So
Won the bet over how much cotton Lewis Johnson would grow off every acre of land. And I think they grew like 30 or 40,000 acres of cotton. It was an enormous cotton farm. And so Louis didn't quite make it. And he said in the beginning, "If I don't grow 4 bales of cotton per acre, I'll buy you a new truck." And so this is it. And then it went to everybody. So it got to me. I had to pay for it. I had to pay my brother Patrick for it. I think everybody got it for free until then. That's probably 30 years ago, because I redid it once after I had it for 5 or 6 years. And then I redid it again about 10 years ago, and we did a really nice job on the restoration.
Really good job.
But I mean, I drive it and use it.
Well, this is not just any sort of replica. It's not just another giveaway truck. The reason we need it done perfectly, is why we went with you, because you do such a good job, is because this is going to raise funds for the Cancer Foundation. So we need it to be absolutely pristine so we can raise as much as we can to be able to support that organization.
that's basically why I'm even here. Caleb called me. I told him I want 4 to 6 months. He told me we don't have 4 to 6 months. When he told me it was the John Wayne Cancer Foundation truck, we got on board because that's what our channel's about. We like giving back and helping support people that support other people. And so that's why we're here. That's why we came to meet with Ethan. And we need every one of you to get behind it as well. So once this truck is done, we'll let you guys know what you can do to help support raising funds, however you can give back. We'll all do it together.
And then we called the right guy.
John Wayne obviously has like a really significant film legacy, right? Everybody knows his film legacy. But when he was, not doing great and he was in bed, he looked up at his kids. We were all in there with him and he said, use my name to help the doctors fight cancer. And so for the last 40 years, we've done that, and we've trained over 200 fellowship-trained surgeons. We have an incredible program to teach kids about sun safety and melanoma, things like the sentinel node biopsy. If you're diagnosed with melanoma or breast cancer, they can trace the cancer through your lymphatic system. It's much less invasive than what people have gone through before. It's a standard of care. He's got this incredible legacy in cancer that he never knew about, which is really kind of equal to his film legacy.
This is an amazing looking truck. I'm gonna have to have a moment with it here.
Yeah. Take a moment. Go pick up the flaws.
The flaws are what makes it nice.
So. My neighbor backed into it the day I brought it home. Squished the bumper back into that.
Put a love tap. This is more of a creamier white with the silver wheels instead of. This is in really, really good shape. So
the old toolbox.
We don't see that very
hatch compartment.
It's in nice shape. And I'm not a Ford guy, but I do have a guy back at my shop. We call him Hillbilly, and he is absolutely over the moon about Ford.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So today I've been going to work on the bed of that Dodge to get the lower dents fixed that Robby didn't see until yesterday. The splash shield pulled out, got the wheel flare pulled off. Now I just got to pull this liner out and then pull this bed cap off. And then there's this little plastic look good piece that I got to get pulled off. Once I get that stuff pulled off, then I can start doing the body work on the front corner on those small dents and get this ready for primer. So I want to start working on getting the bed cap pulled off, which is this piece right here. Okay, so the way you take these top caps off these bed sides, on one end you got this little tree, the M thing, you squeeze it together, pop it out, and then you squeeze these just a little bit, and they're all the way down the bed, the cap. You just squeeze them in a little bit and just slowly pop it out. And then there's another one of those. So this is what it looks like after. Now I'm gonna work on getting this liner out, which it has a bolt right there, a bolt right there. There it is. So all I got left to pull off now is this plastic look good piece, which it's held in with these plastic screw clips. I don't know if you can see it right there. I'll get it pulled and show you. I'll get those pulled and then show you guys better what those clips look like. That's what these clips look like. They just push in, and to take them out, they unthread out like a screw. Now that this bed's all stripped, and get it all sanded up to about here. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's a dent there, and it goes underneath here. It's just me today, so I'm not gonna be able to film very well on tapping it out, but this is what I'll be using. It's a little dolly and a little body hammer. I'll get it tapped out and then show you guys, get some mud spread on it and sand some of that down and show you guys. Now, almost perfect. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but there's no more big dent. A couple tiny ones. I want to throw some Bondo on there and then sand it towards flush and throw some glaze on there. And then I think it's pretty well ready for primer body wise. We'll still have to do some sanding. I'll get some mud mixed up and put on there and sand it off and show you guys. And there it is. Now I'm just letting it set up. Once it's all set up, then I can start sanding it till it's all flush and smooth and feeling like it's supposed to. Just a little bit longer. It's all sanded, feeling good. So now I'm gonna throw a little bit of glaze on there, a very tight coat of glaze. Once this sets up, then I can get it sanded and make it feel smooth like it's supposed to and have no dimples, dents, ridges, anything. And then it's done. This is what showed up for this pickup, the new front axle. So I'll get this body work that I've done sanded, then I'll get the axle pulled in and get it installed. Nice and smooth. No ripples, dimples, dents, dings. Feels good. Now I just gotta wait for Robby to get back to finish that up.
So I'm glad I came and looked at it because I thought it was gonna be white with a blue stripe.
So when I got it, it was that light blue, that real like baby blue and white. When we redid it, we found out that it was actually this harbor blue color underneath. I'm not sure how, I don't know if we painted it correctly.
Whether it was correct or not, it's the way it needs to be. So we'll do it blue and then it'll get white.
Well, how about I leave you alone with the moment in here, check out this truck.
I'm pretty glad they had me come up and look at this, because when I was talking to Caleb about it and getting the idea of doing this truck, I envisioned it as a white truck just with blue over it, but it's exact opposite. So all of the details are all blue. Like I can see back here on the bottom side of the bed, it's blue. It's just got a little bit of white. So basically, we're painting a blue truck and adding white to it. I would have done it opposite. So I'm glad I came up. I would have done white all inside, blue just in 2 little stripes. Overall, this thing looks pretty good. I think we're gonna be able to match it. We'll take a bunch of pictures. We're gonna replicate this the best we can so that the Cancer Foundation Ford is just like John Wayne's original Ford. I think we'll be able to. So we're gonna be replicating this truck, and we're gonna be painting a 1968 Ford Ranger 250 for Ethan Wayne to give away and raise money with the John Wayne Cancer Foundation. So this is a big deal. We've come up here today to take a look at this, to talk to Ethan Wayne, to go over it and get his thoughts, and kind of hear some stories about John Wayne and about the legacy of this truck. This isn't just any truck, this is the Duke's. John Wayne himself owned this truck, he drove this truck, he literally sat in this seat right here. If this seat could talk, I can't imagine the stories that it would have to tell. The legend himself owned this truck, drove this truck, and had fun with it, and just made memories. So what we're trying to do is teaming up with Sparks Photos to replicate John Wayne's truck so that somebody else can have that truck and build their own memories. Basically all we're doing is we're gonna be taking some pictures, some video, and we're gonna be mirror matching this truck to the giveaway truck for the Cancer Research Foundation. We just wanna make sure that it's correct so that whoever gets that truck is actually getting a 100% replica of John Wayne's 1968 Ford Ranger 250 in white and blue. It's gonna be awesome. But one thing I've noticed is this is a blue truck. So I thought it was a white truck that had blue striping, but it's gonna be blue. We're gonna be painting the interior, painting the exterior, and then adding this creamy white roof and lower two-tone. We've got our work cut out for us, but I think we're up for the task. We went up to Sparks Motors, we met with Ethan Wayne, we checked out the Duke's truck. I believe they're calling it the Duke 68, which is John Wayne's 68 Ford Ranger 250. Anyway, we've got a good idea on what we need to do. Nope. Seatbelt. So we've got a pretty solid plan on what we need to do as far as replicating his truck. So the guys at Sparks Motors, they're going to be bringing the replica truck down at some point. Not sure exactly when we'll start on it, but we will let you guys know that. It's going to be a fun project, and it's going for a good cause. It's going to the John Wayne Cancer Foundation, so it's going to help a lot of people, and I'm excited about that. Got a 2-hour drive home, and we'll go check out what's at the shop.
Okay, in order to get that new front axle inside the shop so I can put it under the Dodge, I have to shuffle some things around, which in turns means I have to pull this outside, find a spot for it outside, get a tarp, get it covered, because once I get the axle in the shop and then bolt it all up and in place, then instead of bringing the frame back in, I'm bringing this in. Some of you may recognize it from a video of us, me and Robby, starting to strip it down. Now we're bringing it in the shop and we're actually going to finish it. It's only been outside for like 2 days because we ran out of room in the body shop, but now I'm going to resituate and reorganize everything so that way we can get it inside the shop and get it done. Okay, I got Robby's Jeep frame out. Now I'm going to pull the old axle out so that way I can get the new one in here and get it underneath the pickup under the truck, and I'll just put the old one right outside the doors here, so if I need any parts off of it, it's just right there. Get everything I need off of it stripped off of it because there's a core on it, so we have to send the old one back so they can rebuild it or fix it or whatever they do with them. I'm not entirely sure, so just lift this up. I'm lifting it up because it's on a pallet. What better to use than the pallet jack itself? Well, let's see if we can get the front axle, the new one, in there with the pallet jack not on a pallet. I don't think it's gonna work so well, so I gotta rethink this. So I was able to get it on the pallet jack. I just had to pick up the one side a little bit, set it on there. So now let's go get it put in place and get it all installed. Okay, so I'm gonna try to put this in by myself and film at the same time. So if it doesn't turn out too good, I'm sorry. Move all the new parts. Here we go. Oh, got a chair in the way. Put it down some, and oh man, I'm hitting barely. Okay, now it's somewhat in place, so now I can work on getting it fully in place and get it all bolted up and all that fun stuff. So here we go. So I got the axle somewhat in place. I just got to get it closer to it being in place and then get a couple of these bolts started. Kind of set you guys here to watch a little bit. Okay, I got all 4 bolts in the wishbone. I got to bolt the steering drag link off the new axle, so I can bolt the one that goes to the truck onto the new axle. I got to drop steering arm because this one's bent. I think the other one's straight, and I'm assuming it's supposed to be straight. I'll get the front diagonal bar. I'll get those changed over and then show you guys what it looks like, and then I'll put the springs in after that. Just trying to install the drag link. There we go. I'll get that bolt right there tight, or that nut tight, and that tight to the sway arm link. Just gotta go through and make sure everything's tightened. All the bolts are tightened, and then I'll start going through and hooking up like ABS sensors, brakes, get the brakes bled, put the one tire we have on it, and then I'll show you guys from there. So after I got the axle all installed, made sure all the nuts and bolts were tight, I started plugging all the sensors in, ABS. I'm gonna go plug the 4-wheel drive one in. I noticed it's broke. So we'll have to undo these 4 10mm bolts, slide it out, go to the other axle, pull those 10mm bolts, slide it out, slide it into this one, and get it all tightened up. And now back to the bigger gun. And that's all it consists of. But it's broke, so it won't work. And that's what it's supposed to look like, not broken. But this, slide right on this gear, it locks it in just like a transfer case. So you gotta make sure you got it on the right spot. You don't want to tie them too tight because you don't want to break them, but just snug them up. Just like that. That is done. All I gotta do now is just check the front differential fluid. This front axle is done for what I can do. Now that I'm as far as I can get on the Dodge for till I get parts. Don't want to say today because it might not be till tomorrow or the next day or whenever I get parts, but that's as far as I can get. I am now going to work on getting this inside there. Okay, so the Wildcat or the Hellcat is in. Now we just gotta wait for Robby to get back from his meetings so we can get it tore down, fixed, and put it back together. I have a lot to do, I've got a lot done, and still have a lot more to go. So the car sits a little too low for our lift, so I had to jack up the back a little bit so I can get the lift underneath it.
All right, so we've been gone most of the day, and Hillbilly stayed back here at the shop and was productive on the silver Dodge and the yellow SRT Hellcat. So we're gonna go see what he got done.
So I got the Yeep frame out, so I get it out so I can get the rear axle, or the new front axle in and get the old one out. So instead of bringing the frame back in, I left it out because I knew how to bring this in. It was on the go jacks, it was nosed that way, and you wanted it backed in, so I just took a strap to here, off the rim to the skid steer, swung it around
and brought it in,
and grabbed a couple of guys, had them help me push it in.
Awesome. That's as far as we're gonna get on the Hellcat. Basically, we still need to lift it and start working on it, but that's for another episode. Looks like you've got the front end in.
Yes.
How was that?
With the pallet jack is real easy.
Did you use the pallet jack?
Yes, I did.
Hey, he used the Harbor Freight pallet jack to install his front end. So it's not just
Not so wobbly, tippy.
it's not just a pallet jack. It's an axle installation tool.
It's a whatever you need jack.
Yeah.
It's done, but I'm just waiting for one part for the steering because it's bowed like this.
Front end, done. What about the bed?
Done-ish. It might be done to me, but I know it's not gonna be quite done to you.
Done-ish. Let's go look at the done-ish bed.
Because I'm still a beginner, so I'm not quite sure on everything yet.
Is that like Danish?
Isn't Danish donut? Danish donut?
Danish donut, yeah. Oh, it looks like you got quite a bit done. You got it all stripped down. Oh, you got the dent fixed. Yeah, actually it's not that bad. Fix that eyebrow, reglaze that. Good job. Looks like you got the bodywork almost all finished up. A little bit of a high spot right here. You can actually see it. We call this an eyebrow because it looks like an eyebrow. It's a high spot essentially. So we'll just tap that down a tiny bit, a little bit of glaze, block that out, get this masked up for primer. The bedside will be ready for paint.
And I also noticed, I don't know if it matters much, but right here.
Everything matters. Yeah, but that's from the inside. We can take and hammer that out. Well, Hillbilly got a lot done. We were super successful up at Sparks Motors, but that's pretty much as far as we can get on it. So we are super excited to be part of the John Wayne Cancer Foundation giveaway. It's gonna be a ton of work, but we're excited to get on that project eventually. As always, we appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this video, go check out this one.